single jungler being ganked away.
Yeah.
Vi is open, Pantheon is open, Elise is open. It's going to be actually very fun to see what Supa Hot Crew goes with. Will they take the Elise like most teams? Or do they more want, you know, the heavy engaged one for Impaler's side? The Gragas ban? Moopz has kind of been a Gragas only player for a long time, and teams know this, so the ban is actually very smart.
Well, I mean, all of the bans from Millenium is Moopz. Every single one. You think of the champions he's played over the last time, he was famous for migxa, famous for Gragas, pulled out Ziggs and he started learning that. Now what's he going to be left with?
Well, he has Orianna. Kind of reminds of the same kind of champions. You can farm a lot, and he also has Kayle. He played it last week, and actually it went pretty well. It's the same kind of champion. You farm a lot early game, you get strong for the team fights. If they don't lock it in here, I haven't actually seen Kerp play Kayle before, so I'm not sure if he's going to pick it up. However, though, Morgana here, they love to play Morgana Caitlyn bot lane, like Morgana support, and just shove the wave constantly. That's what's weak, like Tristana, she's very weak against these heavy shove combos. So this actually opens up for Millenium going Tristana once again, if they were happy about it for first game.
Kerp was locked in. And talk about, obviously, that he did play Tristana to varying effects. We're still not sold on that one yet. It looks like it will be Thresh as the opener, of course. Does leave a couple of options open, but the Annie being banned out, of course, means that migxa, who himself went for Morgana as support before, maybe was thinking about that, but of course that was banned out. Maybe, I mean, is that a respect ban? I mean, it did do very well for Supa Hot Crew up against Roccat last week.
It's a ban saying, we know you don't really play Annie. We're now picking away Thresh, which is the counter to Leona. So what is he going to go with? Is he going to fall back on a Nami? He's played it before. Or did he actually start practicing Annie? He didn't play it before. He never played it before in LCS. So I like the way Millenium is actually doing this, trying to shut down migxa and also make it harder for MrRallez to do anything in the lane then. He did early pick the Caitlyn, so he's going to be fairly safe and will be able to farm. Lucian coming in on the other side, basically saying Lucian Caitlyn, they kind of go even in the lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically saying, we didn't believe in Tristana either earlier on.
I'm actually very happy that they didn't go in for the Tristana here. She's a very weak pick against Caitlyn. Oh yeah, the Sonar. We played it as well before.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it works. I actually always liked Sonar versus Thresh because you have so much poke on him. As long as you can dodge the hooks, he can't really do anything to you, and you can just constantly poke him down. And if he does engage on you after level 6, you can counter engage with your ultimate right in the face of him and a team.
There is Pantheon being locked in, so it's Impaler going for that one. It worked very well for him last week. 2 wins on it. It means that Araneae won't have it available. Did also see a LeBlanc being hovered over by Kerp just at the end there.
I think so. He actually instant locked it in. Kerp on these assassins where he can make plays. He really wants to punish Moopz. However, Orianna is actually very good versus LeBlanc, so they kind of open up for Moopz to go that route. Maybe trying to scam a little bit away from the Kayle. Pantheon pick. I think Supa Hot Crew is one of the only teams who's actually not taking Elise when it's up, because they want to play to what they know they're good at, and they want to play with, and he doesn't even pick Elise. Anyhow, they want to play to where they know Impaler is good. They want him on the champions he can do engages on, and where he can do the early, like very aggressive plays.
Well, Elise was used by Araneae in the previous game against Roccat, but he's gone back to Lee Sin. It's a champion he played very well throughout the summer, and this time around going to try and work it against the Supa Hot Crew.
Now the question is, will Araneae stay around the mid lane like we've seen him in the past weeks, constantly getting Kerp going, or will he shift the focus again more towards the top lane and try and get Kevin rolling and, you know, want Kerp to kind of win his lane alone? That's actually very interesting to see. I expect the bot lane to be kind of left alone though, because they will do fine with this fresh Lucian setup. Well,
maybe the question's going to get answered here. Does Moopz play Kayle? Maybe he will be. It's an interesting pick. I was going to say that's a dangerous pick because Kayle can be very squishy early on, especially against LeBlanc. It will be an Orianna falling back on that one, and it's going to be a Mundo in the top for Mimer.
Yeah, Mimer just constantly picks this Dr. Mundo. Yes, he loses the early game a little bit, but once you get to team fights, he's very strong. Orianna pick versus LeBlanc, very smart. You can get a few skills in your shield early game, and you can just prevent all the damage from LeBlanc and just poke him out constantly. Warwick. Kevin actually went for Warwick.
He did go for Warwick.
And I quite like that versus Dr. Mundo because you get very tanky late game, you have a lot of impact, both is running teleport so they can follow each other, and this is pretty much a free farm lane for Warwick because Mundo won't be able to poke him down.
It seems that the Millennium players are happy with it, big smiles on their faces. They got a cheer from the crowd, of course, that they was locked in. So what do we make of these two teams? I mean, this is something we've seen before from Supa Hot Crew. A couple of champions that actually, I think, will synergize very well.
Yeah, they will synergize very well together if they can get the right engage, you know. Grand Skyfall coming in and then followed up by Sonar ultimate from migxa. We saw him flash ultimate last time. It was so good. I have to kind of touch on something I said myself just before with the bot lane. Caitlyn, Zone actually, if they get an early push going, they will pretty much force Lucian and Fresh to lose a lot of CS at the turret and therefore force Araneae to come down and help. So I expect them to actually draw a lot of attention early. Well,
you've heard what Deficio and myself have to say about this one, but let's check what you guys at home think. According to the numbers, it is 52% of you have voted for the Supa Hot Crew. I'd love to check. I think that may be the first vote that Supa Hot Crew have won.
Yeah, it was one of the first very close votes we actually have. So far it's been very one-sided. I like the fact that people actually believe in both teams. This is a Supa Hot Crew with confidence and a Millenium team who have to win. Like, they literally have to win this game.
Well, you heard Alex's opinion. He thought the Supa Hot Crew may well take this one as well because they've certainly been playing very well. So as we move into this game, what are you expecting to see from this one? We've seen Millenium winning out well in the lane phases, but also Supa Hot Crew do very well in the lane phase as well.
Yeah, both these teams are actually very good in the early game. I expect them to rely a lot on the junglers, and I expect them to be very aggressive early, try and set up kills. The top lane, that's more or less the farm phase lane, so they have to focus elsewhere. The bot lane could be a potential one with the Lantern from Jree onto a no mobility Sonar and try and shut her down early if MrRallez and migxa go for the early push and trying to pressure the turret early.
The final game of the night underway. Supa Hot Crew as the blue team and Millenium as the red. And Millenium, well, they were famed for doing this. They did it a number of times over in Brazil, and MrRallez may well get caught out straight away here. Is anybody going to flash engage? No, Jree was far too far away from that one.
It was actually very smart by MrRallez to run out in the river, because normally you stay in the bush and wait, and then Fresh can try like a blind hook. If he managed to hit you, you're pretty much dead, or at least forced to use a flash. This time he just went straight out. He knew he would be there before Millenium, and he spotted him coming in.
And looking at the two teams, who do we see? A level 1 fight, if they were to go 5v5, because think back to Brazil, think back to Sao Paulo, think how Millenium got caught out pretty heavily by the team reading them, knowing exactly what they were going to do, and all face checking that bush.
Yeah, the only CC on Millenium side would be the hook from Jree, but then he doesn't really provide any damage from there. I can see Kevin facing Impaler.
Oh, and he's going to catch on towards Kevin. Kevin's going to take a lot of damage before he gets that turret. He won't go down, I don't feel, from this one, but you can see lots of damage done to him. He's going to back to tower.
Yeah, well, again, back to the level 1 part. None of the teams really have a great invade setup. However, I like the fact that Supa Hot Crew has a bit more damage level 1, especially Zone actually provides quite a lot of damage if she has stacked up a power cord while waiting in the bush.
Cleaver being thrown out, not quite landing. Kerp, he's picked himself up a crystalline flask instead of a Doran's ring in that mid lane. It does look like Impaler, who was standing around that red buff, will be starting off on the blue with the help from Mimer, and no lane changes coming around from either side.
Now we will have to see if Millenium can actually punish Moopz now that they banned away 3 of his champions, or at least 2 of them, and the Morgana. Because Kerp really has to win this lane. Even though he's against Orianna, which is generally the very safe pick, he also picked up a barrier on Moopz, so he really don't want to risk dying.
Okay, let's talk about this bottom lane pairing, because MrRallez and migxa have been getting a lot of first bloods early on. Who's going to hit level 2, in which case, who's going to go for that kill?
I mean, Supa Hot Crew, they don't want to go for this. They're going to get the early level 2, but they just want to keep shoving the lane. You can't really go all in at level 2 with a Sonar and a Caitlyn. You don't have any CC to bring. So they just want to do this. Constantly shut down the lane, and if they can get the wave to hit the turret while Creaton is still level 1, it's very hard for him to actually see us.
They're actually getting very good poke early on there. They seem to be Creaton standing, taking that Pilt over Peacemaker full on in the face.
And this forces Araneae to at least pay some attention to the bot lane. He doesn't have to necessarily gank it, but at least show himself down there, make Supa Hot Crew back off, so, you know, the bot lane for Millenium can get some farm back.
Well, it is Araneae that always goes looking for those kills, and Impaler, we'll see whether he reacts to them. Millenium do clear out that wave and push it back on. We are seeing both junglers in the bottom half of the map right now.
And he is moving down. There's no Lantern on Jree yet, so he has to rely on the fact that he can safeguard to one of them and then start it from there. Impaler's actually moving away from the bot lane, so he won't be able to help if a gank should happen.
So Millenium, will they manage to go for this one? You can see they're starting to push the lane out, and I think, honestly, Supa Hot Crew might read this one a little bit early, because suddenly Millenium being aggressive here, Araneae already backing away.
Yeah, they expected it. Also the fact that Jree started moving a little bit forward, he didn't try and stay back, so they kind of figured he's nearby, they didn't push the wave. They might actually just start doing it again now and force Araneae to come down again and constantly be annoying.
Keep him pressured maybe in that jungle. Mimer in this top lane, you can see he's shoving Kevin in towards the turret, but Kevin's not really going to have too many problems on Warwick. He can farm on the tower pretty easily.
Yeah, and he's going to actually get a lot of CS right here, because Mundo can't pressure him enough to stop him from CSing on the tower. That's why you need like a Renekton to constantly be around them. This is just a farm lane.
a farm lane. It's a farm lane. Kevin slightly edging out. This middle lane, though, Moopz up against Kerp. Orianna versus LeBlanc. It's a lane we've actually started seeing more of in 2014 season.
Yeah, because LeBlanc became this popular pick. A lot of the assassin-type players like Bjergsen and High and NA, they love to play it, and they've really shown how much you can do with it. And it also means it opens up for the Orianna, the safe version against this LeBlanc. We do actually see Kerp being very aggressive and having a small CS lead here in the start. Impaler is closing in from the side, though.
LeBlanc is a very tricky champion to close down, but again, that ward giving vision straight away, and thinking of maybe putting a burst on Impaler himself there, which is why he backed off.
And Araneae, he's lurking around his top lane, but he doesn't have a red buff, so they won't be able to do anything to Mimer. And as you said yourself, spotted out by a ward from Impaler's side, nothing really happening. Both are just gonna go back to farming. If Impaler can hit an early level 6, he can do a very nice surprise gank though.
Okay, so we've seen the Mundo and Warwick before in this top lane. How does this stand when it comes to team fights? We know what Mundo's going to do. He's just going to be walking around this big tank. He's going to have Spirit Facade, Sunfire, Cape, health coming out his backside. Whereas Kevin's going to be slightly different, but he's just going to be lifestealing. Is it going to be the pain? Is he going to focus MrRallez? What's he going to go with his, I can never remember the name of it, Infinite Duress?
Yep, exactly. Well, basically with the Warwick, you have the ability to single out a target, have LeBlanc following with him and pop this target. And at the same time, if you do manage to, you know, win the fight, the chase potential of Warwick with his is it called Bloodlust? Whatever it is, Bloodhunt?
Yep. To
constantly chase after Supa Hot Crew and try and get more kills. And what also Warwick brings, and it's actually something people forget, he gives attack speed to the entire team if they are around him when he pops his W.
See how it works out for them as it is. Not a great deal of aggression coming out. Looks like Jree may well try and come down and force something on towards Supa Hot Crew. Here comes Araneae, the lantern's thrown out. They are going to go for migxa. Does flash away very nicely, but he's going to get closed in. It should be first blood. Who will take it? It will be Creaton that finally gets it out.
And just as we talked about, Supa Hot Crew was pushing up the lane, constantly being a pain for Millenium. They had to call Araneae to come down. This time there was a lantern on Jree, so it's a very easy gank to set up. And there's so low mobility on Sona, you can't really do anything once Fresh walks in your face.
Moopz getting bursted once again by Kerp in this mid lane, keeping the pressure on him. So, Millenium get first blood. Will they follow it through? This is something they've done quite often. It works out very well. They have very good early game, but they tend to get a little overconfident, and it is Araneae that tends to go for it. Impaler's going to go face to face with Kevin, sees him out there, doesn't fancy it. That
was so good. He actually spotted out Kevin because he was level 6, moving for the gank. Araneae was on the other side of the Wraith. They could have collapsed the 3 people onto Moopz, and they were trying to, you know, get Kerp even more rolling. He's actually already winning the lane by himself, CS-wise. That's very impressive. Or maybe also a little bit Moopz not playing too well so far.
Araneae is spending a lot of time in this mid lane, trying to get this gank on towards Moopz. Maybe it's Kerp making the calls, maybe suggesting it, but we see this bottom lane. Now that Millenium have got that first blood down here, they're starting to be a bit more aggressive.
Yeah, and Supa Hot Crew has to be very careful because there's no flash on migxa, so if Araneae should be there again, or even if migxa should be caught by Hook himself, he doesn't really have any chance of escaping if it goes wrong.
LeBlanc making a move down to bottom, but instead it's just warding out that red buff. Moopz will be picking up the blue. Going to be gifted across towards him, which means he will be able to keep Kerp at bay for a little bit longer, who himself hasn't actually got the blue buff yet.
Oh, he hasn't picked it up yet. Araneae started his red buff and then he moved all the way down, so he could be in the bot lane as fast as possible early game. Impaler will hit level 6 though when he picks up his own red buff, and then we can actually really start seeing the ganks, and we can see how well Araneae actually reads him. If he's nearby when the Grand Skyfall comes in, he can maybe turn it around, especially in this mid lane where Kerp is looking very strong so far.
That single award that was placed by Millenium, and of course the one by Araneae, just giving all that vision. They know that he's on red buff, they know the rotation, they know that Moopz is sticking around in the middle. So all the information given across. Kevin taking a look towards the blue buff. It is already gone, buddy. You're too slow on that one.
It is still a very nice ward versus Pantheon because, you know, you don't really want to ward just in the river because he's going to jump across it. So with this ward right here, you might be able to spot Impaler doing a long Grand Skyfall into his lane, and it's actually making him a bit more safe.
I will help the crowd. You pointed towards the blue buff ward.
Yeah.
Pointing towards something on the screen doesn't help the hundreds of thousands that are watching. But it's good that you do that. As it stands, Grand Skyfall is available now on Impaler, but he has no help down here, which means he's just going to clear out, make sure the wave doesn't get taken by the tower.
And first item by Kerp. full-on aggression, needlessly large rod. He's just gonna go straight in the face of whoever is coming close to him. If he gets the early DFG, he can really start setting up kills, and we actually see him moving towards the top lane.
Yeah, and there's no ward coverage here. Mimer may well get caught out by this one. Has got his ultimate available, but you see the Infected Cleaver landing. That's going to be the infinite address. The burst down. He's just a stagnant target, and Mimer will drop from this one. Or will he? He's going to try and get away. The blood hunt from Kevin. He should get the burst down. He's onto the tower. Is there going to be no Grand Skyfall's coming out from Impaler? But he's already gone down. And it's just simple defensive duties now for Impaler.
And a nice roam coming from Kerp. He does it every single game. If he wins his lane, he will make plays everywhere else. And the nice thing about this one, the stun from Warwick came in where Mundo was actually on the right side of the creeps. So he could hit the chain from LeBlanc without having to dodge around these creeps everywhere.
And of course, we see Araneae immediately setting up, defending the lane, making sure the farm doesn't go to waste, keeping all the advantages. The teamwork that you see from these LCS teams is always top-notch. And at the moment in the lane phase, it's going Millenium's way.
Yeah, and this is what Millenium does every single game. Oh, hook coming in on MrRallez.
Hook onto MrRallez. Oh, Crescendo completely missed. Actually, I think he caught Creaton as he managed to dodge out the way. MrRallez trying to turn around. Great pilt over Peacemaker there and turning the pressure back onto Millenium.
Yeah, the ultimate from migxa just caught Creaton and actually prevented anything from happening. Instead, Supa Hot Crew actually won this trade. They don't have the ultimate now though. If there should be a potential dragon fight or a fight in the bot lane, Zona is going to be rather weak.
Millenium looking to try and make plays, safeguard on towards a ward there, but Araneae is going to get caught out. He kicks his migxa. Migxa in trouble, no flash available. As he has, can he get out of it? Instead, it's going to be Araneae. Focus, no! They've let him go! Because then coming to Kevin. Kevin teleporting in, Impaler's in trouble. Shockwave getting pulled by Moopz, but it's not going to be enough to save him down. Impaler drops down. Kevin going to get focused on MrRallez, trying to kite them around the tower. Has he got the damage on Kevin? No! He just gets baited into it, and Jree picks up a kill. Now Moopz is in trouble. Mimer joins way too late in this fight.
Way too late with the teleport from Mimer. Had he come down earlier, he could have prevented some of these kills from happening. Instead, Millenium just picked up so many kills, and now Mimer might even be caught out.
Mimer in trouble. Oh, the death sentence's not going to land, but Jree is sticking around, finally backing off on that bottom lane, creating a lot of plays. 3-0-1 Creaton.
And now, talking back to the communication part, there was no ultimate on Zona, so they called Araneae to come down to start the fight, and migxa went the completely wrong way around, got caught out, just died pretty much for free, and then everything started because a great teleport from Kevin came down, and they could just chase it up. I'm not sure why Mimer didn't follow him with teleport.
Impaler's been late to the fight. Last time around he played Pantheon, he was countering so nicely, but this time around he was just too late. That Grand Skyfall is available, but not a great deal that he can do with that anymore. Spectral Cloud picked up by Mimer in that top lane, who was really redundant in that fight, finally chugs his way up there, and again, ward being placed by Araneae on that blue buff, ready for it when it spawns.
They want to fight for it, especially because Kerp is so strong in the mid lane. He's more or less able to pop anyone at this point. So if they can set up a 3v3 scenario here, where Warwick picks a target with his ultimate, and then Kerp goes straight on it, they can take the blue buff and, you know, keep the dominance going. Millenium, they're so good in the early game, and if it wasn't them, I would like to say, you know, they can snowball this game, but we have seen them throw these leads before.
I like your confidence in Millenium.
I don't have it yet.
We don't have it yet. Oh, death sentence being missed up from Jree, and a good poke back and forward. We do see Impaler, but look at that. That ward that was placed deep, like you said earlier on. We saw Kevin doing exactly the same. They have full vision of him, so they know Grand Skyfall's available, which is why you see them playing so cautious in the lane.
Yeah, Millenium really shows they know how to play with Pantheon and against Pantheon. They're constantly making sure he can't do anything. He's actually going in now.
Grand Skyfall crescendo onto Creaton. The stamp's going to land on him, but he manages to take the blind ladder away straight away. Blind ladder, I don't know where that come from. Lantern is the word I was after. A blind ladder, maybe. But we see, countering, the moment he was away, Araneae comes in, steals the blue.
Yeah, and Kerp wasn't even there, so he just went in for it himself. Kerp instead roamed to the bot lane. He might catch out Impaler.
Impaler's going to get caught, burst down towards him. Oh, look how much damage Kerp just does. And Impaler gets popped. Now MrRallez in trouble. This is all going Pete Tong for Supa Hot Crew. It is going to be Creaton picking on towards migxa. That's another kill. Creaton gets it.
And this seriously couldn't go any worse for Supa Hot Crew. No matter what they're doing, Millenium is there to punish them. You have a 13 minutes DFG LeBlanc, instantly one-shotting your tank. Millenium, if they keep up this pressure and keep taking these kills, the buffs from Supa Hot Crew, there's no way they can actually get back in the game.
Big objectives being picked up by Millenium here. Great start from them. 8-1 up in kills. Dragon going down. Tower being pressured on the bottom. Creaton just keeping their waves, pushing in towards it. Doesn't want to take the tower down yet, because they're doing so damn well in that lane. 4-0-3 now, Creaton.
Yeah, there's no reason for Millenium to break the laning phase. If they can keep all the turrets up and just stay like this and just roam around, they can just keep picking up the kills. If they do take down the bot turret, they have to, you know, rotate somewhere else. And that's not what they want, especially with this combo.
Zero impact from Impaler here. Walks past the ward in middle. Araneae says, thank you very much. I'm going to take your red away now. So he's taking the blue and the red from Supa Hot Crew's jungle.
And I love this way of playing from Araneae. This is what we need to see. He's really stepping up. He's constantly making sure that Impaler is getting nothing, no buffs. And he's been doing the ganks as well. He did do the early game gank. They gave them the kill they needed. And then 4-0-3 on Creaton. He just said, thank you very much. I'm just going to take it from here.
Now we're on to the blue buff, which is going to be given across to Kerp. Pretty sure on that one. Supa Hot Crew, well, they have to make some plays now, don't they? Because they've fallen so far behind. 4,000 gold, 14 minutes in. It doesn't sound a big number, but it's a giant number at this margin of the game.
It is huge. They need the next Grand Skyfall from Impaler to give them a kill or a tower. They need some sort of reward. Or Millenium can just keep doing this over and over again. They're stronger in every lane, every single lane so far. And if there should be a fight, Supa Hot Crew actually pretty much have to outplay them at this point.
Yeah, and just look how cautious they're being in that bottom lane now. The moment they saw the duo pairing of Jree and Creaton, they completely stepped away. In fact, they're completely leaving the lane. They're heading up towards the middle.
Yeah, they're going to go here and maybe try and pressure somewhere else. But against Kerp, he's going to try and pop MrRallez instantly as you see him. He's level 8.
Well, Moopz too far away from that one. Kerp easily reading that. He's got his flash, and you know, LeBlanc is so mobile anyway. They're going to maybe see if they can look at that. They're going to use this is a desperation place. They're trying to take him low and push to the lane, but it's so easy to spot.
Yeah, and you know, Jree already moved, migxa recalled, so it's only 3 people mid, and they don't really do anything with this other than saying we can't actually stay bot lane at this point. If we stay bot lane, we will die 2v2 or to a gank, so we have to do something else. And right now, they're just doing nothing. They're getting no CS on the Cade lane and no levels either.
Oh, that death sentence dangerously close to Moopz' foot there, nearly pulled him back in. No, that's trying to give MrRallez everything. He's having to jungle now.
Yeah, jungle Cade lane actually. No, he's gonna rotate to the top lane. They just try the next lane now. Didn't work in mid lane. Let's go top, see if we can pressure down this Warwick. Millenium should be able to take somewhere else, especially in the bot lane.
And we should explain this, because you can see down the bottom lane, if we take a quick... Oh, I tell you what, Impaler's going to find Kerp, but he's already had a problem with that one before, realizing the damage burst that could come out of Kerp. He's not too worried at the moment, looking towards that blue buff. Instead, he's going to come across. But what I was about to focus on is that bottom lane. The problem with this bottom lane is that they were freezing it, and Supa Hot Crew can do nothing about it. Mix is dead.
Yeah, he's pretty much dead. Popped. Moves. He might actually try and close in on this one, but Kerp should still be able to almost 1v2, and Jree is there as well with the lantern. But as you talk about the bot lane when they were freezing it, it's simply saying if you get just close to any CS right here, we're gonna try and land a hook with Jree and just instantly kill you because our AD carry is so strong compared to yours.
And they're just leaving Creaton. He's now having his wicked way with the bottom lane. He's got that bloodthirst, he's got the sheen, he's building up all the damage he wants, taking towers for free.
Yeah, and we see the Grand Skyfall coming in.
Is it going to land on towards Kerp? Kerp just walks away, does manage to get stunned up. Oh, and look at the speed he's got. Takes the lantern. Thank you very much, Jree.
They might, no, not even a minion wave in mid lane. They can't pressure this. Araneae is top lane now. If Kevin goes on to MrRallez, he's going to have a very hard time surviving.
Well, we do see Impaler heading up there, but of course, Grand Skyfall was just used out. Ward placement coming out from Kevin. No worries there. Kevin has just been untouched in his top lane. Infinite duress on towards MrRallez. That's going to kick in towards him. The kick actually taking him to the tower. Great crescendo coming out, but Kevin goes through him. He's like roadkill on the tower there, and now migxa putting pressure on him. Kevin just walks away, no problem.
There's really nothing migxa can do. He did land his ultimate. Impaler wasn't nearby. It's been the story of Impaler this game. He's always been on the back foot. He didn't have his ultimate because he tried to use it in mid lane. So instead, Millenium picks up another kill. And right now for Supa Hot Crew, things are just looking so hard, and they can't even stay in the lanes.
They're trying to create something, anything, but it's just not working for them. Blue buff is going to get picked up, not even going to be able to smite that one away, Impaler. It didn't have available, so there's no chance of that. And Kerp hanging around thinking, oh, I burst him before, I'd love to take another support and get myself a free kill.
Look at Kerp's items. He's almost having a death cap completed. We're at 18 minutes. He's almost having a death cap and a DFG. That is one shot to everything.
Impaler. Oh dear, Impaler. Oh dear, Impaler. It got blocked by his passive, but I think he's going to go down. Oh, the shockwave turn around! Is it going to be enough? Moopz going to try chasing Nilsson. Flashes onto it, feels it. Yes, he gets it. Well, something for nothing at least.
And actually, this is what they need. Millenium, they're known to be overconfident. If they can manage to get some free kills here and get maybe back in the game from Supa Hot Crew's side, Moopz is actually doing fairly well. This kill really helps him as well. If he can get some items and actually land a good shockwave in a team fight, they might be able to come back. It is still looking very hard, and Millenium really have to lose this game by themselves.
They may well do that. They've done it before.
The TP coming in behind.
Oh, going to be a flash on towards him. Puts the box down, shocking up Mimer. Mimer on that toe. Look at Jree. They've got to realise the fact that he's on that turret. Moopz taken so low now. Kevin trying to work him out. Jree will go down, but Moopz is going to follow. Now Mimer's going to be the next focus coming in. Down the bottom is going to be Creaton focusing towards him. Doesn't manage to get the damage down. The Cologne coming out. It's going to wipe out the minions. Kevin can tank this tower for days. And it's going to be Creaton getting yet another kill. 5-0-3 now.
And the barrier actually gave Moopz a kill. He was able to survive long enough to pick up the kill on Jree. Again, this is what they need. Millenium quickly counter engages and they can take this turret.
Now they're going to go in towards Impaler. Araneae tanking out too much damage maybe. Heartseeker trying to keep him at bay, but again migxa's going to get focused on. Oh, that kick would have landed. I'm pretty sure Araneae would have followed.
And Kerp is here coming to the party from the side. He's not spotted by a ward. Will he try and go again on Impaler?
Oh, Impaler, you are in all sorts of trouble so often so far in this game, but it is going to be the dragon that Millenium focus on. Kerp is not done yet. He's still in that mid lane. He's looking for kills.
And he will just keep trying. Will Impaler? No, he doesn't really have anything to go in with except for his ultimate, certain death. He decides to just let the dragon go, wisely enough. Can he get this red buff though, or will he? No, but yeah, he can. Millenium actually packs soul for once.
For once. For once they get themselves a buff. Blue buff will go across to Kerp. He's going to continue on his merry way. Rabadon's death cap almost completed sorcerer shoes. Doesn't even need them. He's just popping people for fun right now. And of course, this is something we've seen with LeBlancs in the past. And, you know, considering we kind of wasn't sure on the LeBlanc picks in the first 2 weeks, it didn't really work out very well in Europe. Of course, we've seen it working well in North America, but, you know, the mid laners are not as good there. So as it is in Europe, it's not quite working out. Fuck with that one.
Right. I'm just gonna say that the Blanc for me is a very safe pick. You can take it if you actually feel you can win the lane, and then you can just have so much impact. That's also why they love, you know, we see it so much in NA where Bjergsen is just dominating everything. He's doing it on the Blanc most of the time.
Well, Araneae is going to be taking that red buff, looking for the kills. Kerp still lingering. See, he's just trying to stay in the blind spot, just around the corner so he can get some of that burst down, putting those wards in that mid lane, but nobody really falling for it anymore.
And when he actually recalls, he will be able to pick up this death cap and start working towards maybe a void staff, just to even more damage. Generally, the entire team of Millenium, except for Araneae, is going, you know, very damage route right now because they are ahead and they want to keep snowballing it. The question for me though is, can Millenium actually hold on to this lead?
Well, it's a question we've always wondered many times. There's a question against Roccat. Crescendo completely misses from migxa there, whiffed it totally, and now they focus Shockwave on towards Araneae and Jree. The ace in the hole's coming through. Jree's taken low from this one. Impaler may be able to land a spear on towards him, but no, Safeguard comes back in. Mimer gets taken low. Kevin goes in and turns the lock in towards him, but he gets taken down nicely. Good to stun from Impaler there. Creaton though with the Cologne coming out. He's just massacring the team. Now he's going to get focused on. Impaler gets locked in there. That's going to be a great death sentence coming out. Now they're going to focus on towards Moopz. Moopz is going to have to run away from this one. It's a messy fight from both teams and a 2-for-2 trade.
But respect to Supa Hot Crew for actually going even in this fight. They managed to pick up an early kill. Very good shockwave by Moopz. They chased it on a little bit too far and Kerp came in. He actually used his whole combo on Mimer at first and didn't kill him. That's why he couldn't really do anything until his cooldowns were ready again. He popped in and then he got the kills he needed.
Millenium, we mentioned how many times they've gone a little too aggressive and great game dissonance coming out, but that will be the turret. Kerp just trying to use his Mimic there to just try and bait something from Moopz.
And the guy that was targeted by all the bans from Millenium is actually the one who has to really step up from Supa Hot Crew. He's 3-1 and 2, he's almost completing his death cap, and he's actually having quite a lot of damage. If he can keep going like this, Supa Hot Crew actually have a chance in the fights.
As it stands, Supa Hot Crew trying their best to get themselves back into this one.
We have to touch a little bit on the fact that hard engaging from Supa Hot Crew is very hard against this team. Very mobile Millenium. We saw before the flash ulti coming in from migxa, dashed away by Creaton and jumped away by Kerp. So it's going to be very hard for them to actually hit anything, especially also because Araneae can do the same. He can like dash to a ward.
It is going to be the Supa Hot Crew this time around picking that blue buff up for Moopz. That's important. He needs that. Kevin's going to take that top lane turret. One more swipe of his claw will do that. And they will will back away. But Millenium, they're looking for kills. Impaler's going to get found. He's going to get kicked. He's going to get punted. It's going to be Kerp coming in. And once again, destruction from Millenium.
Yeah, but do you see actually in the bot lane?
Oh, wow. What are you doing, MrRallez? Out of position, trying to create anything, trying to get some farm. But Creaton and Jree just find him easily.
Yeah, just when Supa Hot Crew actually had a good team fight, they just do two things so wrong. First of all, Impaler stays around just to throw a spear in the face of Araneae, even though there's a risk of Kerp being nearby, has to give up his life. MrRallez, he had to shove up the bot lane to try and get some farm, and he just got caught out of position.
Kick on migxa, Lee he had so many wards placed out there. Pretty making sure they get that full vision. It's put down a minute ago. Creaton now down in this bottom lane. It's Jree that's tanking out that turret. They're going to take this inner turret down, no problem, I doubt that. For Millenium, that takes it 5-0 in turrets.
And look what Millenium is doing right now. They're scared of team fighting, so they just spread out on the entire map, and they keep Kerp in the mid lane, and then he can roam towards bot now. See Jree with the hook.
Flash death sentence on migxa straight away. He does get the crescendo out at the end, but it's not going to get him a kill. Or will it? No! Sidestep, MrRallez, infinite duress. MrRallez runs away. Impaler's just trying to dash away from that one, and it is going to be Kevin again taking all those tower hits. Millenium just creating everything they can against Supa Hot Crew.
Yeah, just as we talked about, they want to spread out Supa Hot Crew and then try and make a pick, especially with this LeBlanc and also an amazing flash hook coming in from Jree, setting everything up. They do have to back up though. They can't really push on this Orianna at the moment.
At the moment, it seems that Millenium are just in control of this game. 18-5 in kills, and I just want to quantify talking about these mid laners because, ladies and gentlemen, Bjergsen is European. I don't care if he's in North America right now. He's still a European player. We're keeping him.
He's still my little Bjergsen.
He's your little Bjergsen.
My little Bjergsen.
You've said different words to Bjergsen, I believe, on camera in the past. We won't go to that right now, though.
Definitely not. I really like Bjergsen. I'm very happy he's doing well in NA, and I wish the best for him.
But back to this game. Millenium are just totally dominating right now. Supa Hot Crew, we've talked about before how they do well in the early game and then they manage to turn the game. This is probably another situation. I don't think we've ever seen them come back from a dangerous situation like this.
No, we haven't really seen them as a team pile up and make the comeback. But so far, they're actually doing the right thing. They're just constantly farming away like they should be doing. Millenium, I have a weird feeling right now that they're actually scared of trying to do too much. That's why they want to make these picks and then set something up. We haven't even seen them trying to get vision control of the Baron area. That's actually Supa Hot Crew who's having the wards there. So Millenium right now, just waiting out a little bit, maybe waiting for a few key items on a certain champions.
So let's talk about this impact that Warwick's had in this game, because he's got a 100% win rate so far, looking like it's going to stay that way. This is the 3 of 3 now win rate for Warwick. Is this really a champion we're going to have to start looking at? Because again, infinite duress on Mimer. Mimer tanking out the turret, quite a lot of damage coming towards him, but nobody else really going to follow this up. Oh, as I say that, Millenium dash up that mid lane.
Oh, he's teleporting.
Oh, he's teleporting. Yeah. He's gone.
Nice. Warwick, I like him very much versus Dr. Mundo because it's this farm lane and you have to teleport. They are starting the Baron though, and there's a ward on it. Will Supa Hot Crew react to this?
Oh, Creaton trying to tank it out. Araneae going to come in. They realize the rest of Supa Hot Crew going to have to come in for it. Are they going to be able to do anything about it? Crescendo's available. Flash is available. Can they get closed in the right time? Kerp's taking pretty low on damage here. The rest of Supa Hot Crew don't come in. Millenium, oh, Lee Syndrome kicks in for Araneae. He goes deep on this one. Kicks migxa in towards that. migxa not able to do anything. Crescendo was not even used. Araneae goes down. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Kerp comes back around. MrRallez trying to kite him out. Uh-oh, that's trouble for MrRallez. He gets popped by Kerp. Back and forth action, but it's another 2-for-1, and Kevin continuing to put pressure on Supa Hot Crew.
Again, kind of messy fight. migxa got caught by the kick from Lee Sin and into a hook, and he just died from there. Oh, Jree actually been caught out.
Jree does get the death sentence down. The shockwave was used, but just not enough damage, even on the support.
Again, if you're so far ahead in goal, as Millenium are right now, you need to be able to win this fight, more convincingly. Right now, they don't really do too much other than try and pick 1 or 2 kills, and then we go back to the same mode. Oh, they're going in!
Oh, infinite duress. That's going to be a Moopz down. Completely caught out once again. We talked about how this Warwick can play a part, and the moment he locks up, that's basically a dead even stun that everybody's just going to pounce on.
Yeah, and right as I'm saying, they don't really do anything. They boom, flash, stun, and they go in for this one. And this is what you can do with this Warwick LeBlanc combo. Always single out a target and just go for it. And you also have the Lee Sin to actually kick someone into you. So you have a lot of options of picking out champs. It's what they're doing now. I'm being a little bit too harsh on them, I feel. I kind of want to see them actually close out a game and show they know how to, win games.
But we're only at the 28-minute mark now. Let's not get carried away with this one. They like to take it long.
Yes, but we are at such a huge goal lead. at the 28 mark. That's
Yeah.
what we need to keep in mind. They have every option of setting up kills, and they just need to do it and constantly, you know, keep Supa Hot Crew on the back foot.
Cast your mind back to that 7 Wolves game in Brazil. It was with the Baron, 20,000 gold ahead, and they made a good attempt to throw in a game. It was not good for Millenium, and maybe that will start flickering in their mind if some of these plays start to go askew.
Yeah, it's definitely something they're actually thinking about. It's maybe why they're being, again, a little bit careful, because you really don't want or give away, you don't want to give away this lead. And they want to show to everyone, because Araneae was talking about in the interview before in the games, that we want to show we know how to close games. So that's really what they want to, you know, we can see here.
Not Supa Hot Crew rushing into this one, but they're walking through a wave of pink wards, and Millenium have full vision. They are a little bit spread out, though. We can see Creaton now just coming back, and let's talk about Creaton. 906, Trinity Force, Bloodthirst, to Banshee's Veil, and Last Whisper already on it.
Yeah, he's so strong. We've been talking about Kerp, how he can take out a target, but oh, Kerp coming from side.
Kerp's going to go in. It's actually Impaler he caught on, not the burst that he was looking for, and he was really after migxa.
Anyhow, Creaton, if there should be an extended fight, he's going to do so much damage. And MrRallez, he can't compete with it right now, and he's not supposed to.
Baron being started off again. This time around, Millenium looking to peel off once again, I feel. We do see the Supa Hot Crew coming in. It's going to be Mimer. Look at the damage on him. That is the tankiest member of the Supa Hot Crew going down like a minion.
And he got caught off guard. The rest of Supa Hot Crew, hook coming.
Oh no, migxa getting caught out there. Does pull out the crescendo, but it's too little too late. That's a double kill now for Creaton. He's focusing in. Shockwave only capsing on Kerp. Moopz in all sorts of trouble. He's going to have another triple kill now for Creaton. Can he go for the quadra? They're going to keep on chasing. No. Bat sportsmanship. Oh, another hook comes out. Brilliant play from Jree. That's a quadra kill. This game is over.
This has to be the end. Finally there, Millenium gets the fight they need, and they just pick up kill after kill. Great individual play coming in as well. You know, flash hooks, and Kerp always coming from the side, setting something up. Millenium is finally showing how to close a game.
Well, they're not going to close it yet. They're going to take down an inhibitor turret. They're going to take down the inhibitor as well, but the respawn's now coming in because we are only at the 30-minute mark. Supa Hot Crew respawning, but they are really up against it now. 25 kills to 6. 16,000 gold behind. They have got 3 turrets. That's something, but they're just in trouble. And it's going to be Millenium taking the inner on the top lane.
And the Baron didn't even go down, so they can go back to this one, try and bait Supa Hot Crew out again. We see Mimer, he might want to close in on this.
Well, they're going to try and chase. It's a 4v5 situation if the rest of Supa Hot Crew were with them, but they're not. And Kerp is just going to move back in. Oh, I tell you what. Moopz has to be careful here because Kerp is dangerous.
And Kerp just wants someone to show down in the bot lane or nearby.
MrRallez not going to land his combo, not quite going to get it in there. They're going to try and chase on towards him. Ace in the hole will take him low. Have they got enough? They're going to get Grand Skyfall. Kerp could go down here. They're going to get the stun. No, they're not. Because Kerp just says, see ya.
migxa's coming in though from the side. He has a lot of move speed right now. Doesn't decide to go for it.
Nope.
Kerp
just walks away. 617 Kerp, and honestly, is just stomping anywhere he goes, but 1306 on Creaton.
Alright, here's 2 options for Supa Hot Crew. Either we want to go out and try and fight for this Baron and try and stop it and, you know, pick the fight we want, or give them the Baron, wait in the base, just constantly wave clear, and then try and punish a mistake from Millenium. If they do manage to pick up this Baron though, which they will fairly uncontested, they just have every option to win this game now.
Well, Baron being starting off by 1 Millenium once again, but again, not really focusing on it, and they've no reason to go for Baron, honestly. They don't need it right now. They've been shoving through, but Baron buff, it's always a bonus.
Yeah, and when it's this easy to pick it up, the only thing that can go wrong is actually Pantheon trying to jump in and steal it, but he has no vision, so he has to guess. And if he actually manages to steal this, it's going to be steal of the year.
Well, blind man drop is a possibility. Jree doesn't manage to land that death sentence. It will be the Baron picked up without contestation from Supa Hot Crew.
Right. Now we have to give credit to Millenium. They are actually snowballing this game, and they are doing everything right. So, like, now, they're actually doing what they should be doing. Got the Baron, got the kills they needed, and Creaton is just being an absolute beast on this
honestly, but despite obviously Kerp creating plays himself, I feel it's actually Kevin, every time he uses Infinite Duress, he's getting on the right targets. He's going for Moopz, he's going for MrRallez. Impaler's obviously also been a caught, but the moment it's basically a stagnant target. It's an easy kill.
It's an easy kill, and Kevin is so good right now at targeting or finding these easy kills. Also, his teleports early in the game really help him set up some kills.
Mimer just getting caught, he gets beaten down. It's a good defensive ball shield coming out from Moopz now, but a Kerp goes aggressive. And migxa, well, he went down before he got a chance to breathe. gets himself a second. This is all over for Supa Hot Crew. Millenium really have played this game very well.
Yeah, and Kerp, he's actually been able to do this pretty much through the entire game. He got such a good start, he got an early DFG, and just started picking up targets. And there's nothing worse than playing support against that.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Millenium do get themselves more kills on the board. Creaton now 14-0-7 as they finish out this game. The Nexus going down. Millenium finish the day with a win. And the Supa Hot Crew, well, there is no dream. They cannot get 3-0. They're back to losing ways.
I think this was one of the most one-sided early games we have seen in the current season of LCS. And it's also why, we're being a little bit harsh on Millenium. We want them to, constantly pressure this lead they had. But all in all, they played it safe and they got the win they needed. And this is such a huge confidence boost for them.
And even when they stood up, they really didn't. They were kind of like celebrating half-heartedly because it was kind of an easy win.
It was a bit of an easy win. Everything went well for them early game. They won the lanes. And again, highlight the teleport from Kevin coming down where they picked up the 4 kills, I think it was, in the bot lane. It was basically a huge turning point where they just got so far ahead. There wasn't really anything Supa Hot Crew could do to get back in the game.
And what do we take from Millenium for this one? Because I believe that's only their 3rd victory in the LCS. They're still down that bottom area. Of course, Alliance just picked themselves up their 3rd victory as well today. So they're not out of it yet. They're still down that bottom of the table.
They're still down at the bottom. We saw some good points, though. They got very far ahead early game against actually a Supa Hot Crew team who's been doing fairly well early game. So they really showed in some great individual play. And also, I like the rotation and coordination this time. Whenever Kerp was roaming, Araneae went into the mid lane, he defended it there, got the farm he needed, and when the bot lane needed help, Araneae was there, picked up the kill, so everything really worked for them, and then they just kept using this LeBlanc to pick up kills in the mid game, and if there was a fight, Creaton was there to take a lot of kills.
And we should mention Jree there, just giving the thumbs up to the screen.
Oh yeah, flash hooks.
Some great flash hooks in that
I think he did 3 of them actually, and he, every time he gave a kill, and he just gave a bigger advantage for Millenium, so gotta highlight that one, that was amazing.
Of course, you can't have great AD carries without support. But speaking of great AD carries, it's great to see Creaton back in winning ways. 13-0-7, I believe he ended the game with there. He was the man that was carrying the team before. This is going to give him a confidence boost. Of
course, and this is also him showing to the team, you can still trust in me.
Yeah.
Give me the kills early game like he got this time, and I will carry this game in every single team fight. He didn't do a single misstep. I don't even think he died.
And this is interesting because Creaton's probably been the most vocal of all AD carries, saying AD carries, they're not as good as they used to be. They can't carry games, but pretty sure they just proved that they can.
They can definitely do a lot. Once we get to these team fights, if you can really kill them, and they can do so much. AD carries for me, at least in Europe, have really stepped up. There was the old argument before that NA had the AD carries, Europe had the mid laners. Right now, I really feel we have so many good AD carries in Europe. Like pretty much all the bot lanes are actually doing well.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how that works out for them. Supa Hot Crew, where do they take it from here? They're now taking a loss. I don't think they'll be too shocked by it. They talked in the opening feature that how they're building themselves up. Everything they do is all about themselves, all backing themselves. Any sponsors they pick up, it's all the hard work they've done. There's a lot of hard work for them in the future.
There is, but this is one of those games you just kind of want to forget. You look at the early game, what I didn't follow with his TP, and all the lane matchups. How do we like them? And then from there on, you kind of say, we lost the early game so hard, we couldn't do anything. And then you kind of forget the game and you move on to the next one. So I expect them to go home, really